very nice. You know what? I think we need to get back to McLaughlin. This is really sickening to hear all this good stuff about Yates. But actually, I really enjoyed, I did talk to Michael Marks last week, Bill, and he said he will spare no words. But I do want to tell one quick story. It's a true story. Chris Kelly is in the audience here, and Chris, many years ago, I can't remember the year, but it was around 2000 or so, Chris was running Repertoire magazine. I was kind of managing our training piece, so I really wasn't close to Repertoire on a day-to-day basis. And in fact, I'll confess, sometimes I actually didn't read an issue. So Chris was out somewhere one day, the phone rings, and one of the girls says, "Hey, it's Bill McLaughlin on the phone. He wants to talk to Chris." Chris isn't there. He says, "Well, then he wants to talk to you." Bill didn't usually call to check on sports scores or things of that nature. Many of them centered around things that were going on in Nashville at the time. So I'm panicked. I haven't read the magazine, and I'm thinking, Chris, what's going on? Did you do something? And so I asked the girls, give me a magazine quick of the current issue. And in it, we had done 3 stories on independent distributors. And I'm panicked because I'm thinking Chris, who managed the content at that time, had selected 3 NDC members. And I know that the call is coming from Daytona to tell me about that. So I read the magazine, or I'm flashing through, and there were about 3 IMCO members. So I go, what could Bill be calling about? God, I wiped the sweat off my brow, and I asked Bill, hey, Bill, what's up? He says, hey, I just got your issue. I was reading this, the current issue of Repertoire, and I said, yeah. He says, and I'm like, hey, yeah, they're all about your members. He says, yeah, 2 of them didn't mention that they were IMCO members. And I said, are you serious? I said, Bill, I told him, sorry, I said, Bill, I'm so nervous when you called. I thought Chris had really screwed up. And here you are complaining that 2 guys weren't mentioned. I said, if there was a phone call from Nashville, I could understand it. But we'll take it from there. But Bill is going to be our co-finale here. Our final roaster is probably no stranger to anybody in this room. He's made you talk about careers. Jeez. This guy's had it made. Tony Melaro from Welch Allen, alias Dr. Ben, alias the most interesting distributor rep in the world, has made a career. I don't know if it's in selling, but in creating characters that everybody in the industry knows and loves and laughs at. So we've asked Tony to kind of light up the room for us here in his own inimitable way. He emailed Scotty and I this week and said, hey, would you like to proof some of my comments to make sure that they're appropriate? He says, even though I probably won't stick to any of my script. So Scotty right back, he says, what good would it do? Just bring it on. So without further ado, Tony, Dr. Ben Melaro.
Wow, being on last. How we doing? Okay, got a little housekeeping of my own. Some messages came in from Ritz-Carlton for some folks here in this room, so I'd just kind of like to read them. Fax came in for you, Bill McLaughlin. Read subject matter, save the date, Bill. Dear Bill, I hope that you can join us for the 2015 IMCO National Convention. Next year's event will be held at the Hyatt Regency Jacksonville, Florida, May 2 through 6. We sincerely hope you will be able to attend. Yours truly, Angie, Bill Jr., Yates, Steve, Deb, Karen, Carol, Pat, Sally, and the rest of the IMCO staff. There's a little flyer here, Bill, that you put up in your cubicle to make sure you make the date. Let's see, another message came in for Mark Seitz. Mark, are you here? Mark Seitz? The city of Daytona Beach called. Your warehouse building permit has been approved. Just reading the messages that came in. John Moran, Kmart called. Your suits are ready for pickup. The Goodwill Ambassador for Goodwill and the Salvation Army, John Moran. And one last message, folks. Sorry, I'll try to keep this moving. A note here from everyone's favorite proctologist, Dr. Bendover. Congratulations to both Yates, Farris, and Bill McLaughlin on your induction into this year's Medical Distribution Hall of Fame. Per tradition, both of you will receive a free colon exam. Your choice, standard, rigid, oh my God, rigid, or flexible. Please see 10% off coupon inside of this envelope. Please be sure to set up this appointment with my wife, Eileen Dover. He also wanted me to let you know, and I quote, wishing you both a fantastic evening from the heart of my bottom. Looking forward to our camping trips this summer. I'm not sure what that means. Some notes, some house clean. So it's a pleasure and a privilege for me to be standing here as one of tonight's presenters, and an honor for me to be asked to say a few words about one of the larger-than-life legends in this industry. And I don't mean that literally. I'm talking about Yates Farris. Yates, they were supposed to get you a little booster chair and a little stool for your feet. Apparently that didn't work out too well. I think, Yates, you and I met back in the mid-'80s. You were the sales manager for Winchester Surgical Supply, and boy, you had a team there. The Bailey twins, Snook and Dick, and if anybody knows the Bailey twins, Snook and Dick, identical twins. They look exactly alike, dress alike, talk alike. Your brother Alan, God rest his soul, Joey Jackson, Bill Holder, Jimmy Ray, the list goes on and on. I wish all those guys could have been here to see your big night. You were the rock and the lifeblood of that sales team, one of the best independent distributors on the East Coast, no question, Winchester Surgical, where you were employed for 31 years, I think. And I said employed, not worked. Your team, would follow you anywhere. That was the old guard, independent dealers. You shook a hand, you made a deal. You were the glue of the knight in shining armor. Those guys worshipped you. You'd ride in a big black stallion, and it's such a shame to see you today, Yates, with a walker, a guide dog, and a nurse. Father Time has not been good to you, has he? I first met Yates with a local rep, Paul Du Bois, who's in the back today, and Yates will tell you the best trained psychiatrists at Bellevue still don't have a clue as to what's going on up here with Mr. Du Bois. I can tell you, working with Paul Du Bois is like watching a drunk chase a balloon along a cliff's edge. You just never know what's going to happen, but I can guarantee you it's not going to end up real well. But Yates and Paul, they had a great relationship. They figured it out. Yates was kind of like the Jane Goodall in their relationship. She would kind of sign language back to Paul, and they figured it all out. After Winchester, Bill was kind enough to hire Yates on as the VP of Primary Care Markets, where he is today. For those of you who know Yates, you want to catch him before 2 o'clock, because soon after that, it's nappy time. His teeth go in a cup, and he slips off his orthopedic shoes and curls up in the fetal position on his office couch for a couple hours, so you want to catch him before 2 o'clock. Yates is on a schedule. He's got everything regimented. He eats his meals the same time every day, and he likes his breakfast cholesterol-filled. He likes his eggs and his bacon and his sausage and his biscuits, and can't forget the grits. I'll tell you, the only guy I know that can max out his credit cards at the Cracker Barrel, that's Yates Farris. Yates, we've had some fun all the time. We had a little whitewater extravaganza out in Cashiers. I guess that was about 15 or 20 years ago with about 10 or 20 of us from Winchester and some manufacturers. Kuna was there, Paul Du Bois was there, a lot of your boys were there. and we were in the middle of nowhere. This is the part of the country where people there think deliverance is a love story, for crying out loud. And I want to tell you, we flipped that boat over, I can't tell you how many times. None of us paid attention to this poor guide who was trying to give us safety instructions. You got to remember, all the IQs here couldn't match up and get us Mensa Society membership, I can tell you that. These are guys that go into the drugstore and buy condoms and ask the clerk where the fitting room is. So you can imagine what kind of guys you're dealing with here. Later that evening, after the Whitewater, we went back to the Bailey camp, and we had dinner and cocktails. And Yates, if you remember, you got up and gave a little toast, and you told everybody enjoy the moment, time with friends, it's precious. Take life with a grain of salt, and then you continued. You said, and a slice of lemon and a shot of tequila. We brought out a big bottle of Pepe Lopez tequila that night, and about 20 minutes later, we had a man down. Bill Holder, a very quiet, unassuming gentleman, was lost. Couldn't find him anywhere. We've got no flashlight. So Paul Dubois has his samples in the trunk. He's got an ophthalmoscope, 4 or 5 of them, and a power handle. If you don't know what that is, it's an instrument that shines in the back of the eye. It's got light, and we go out and God knows, I don't know how Paul remembered to plug these things in, but they were totally charged. We had light. We went out and found Mr. Bill Holder, who was slumped up against a tree, drool coming out of the side of his mouth. We grabbed him, brought him inside, and continued to drink. We had a lot of fun that night. It was a great night. Of course, for Bill Holder the next morning, he looked like hammered dung, and his face looks like something you'd find on a pirate flag, for crying out loud. The next day, we all rang out our livers and went on. Great trip. It was a lot of fun, Yates. More recently, last month, in the 1st of May, about 10 of us, including Bill and Lou Allen from Welsh Allen, we went to Yates's place, Yates's estate in the Carolina Hill Country. Beautiful place, mountain retreat. And we celebrated Paul Dubois' actual retirement. Paul was with Welsh Allen, as someone mentioned earlier, about 42 years. And I was told that Repertoire was going to write an article about that. Yeah, right. Save your breath, will you? You're going to need it to blow up your date later. Well, I don't know. I understand you guys sold the script to Hollywood to write the next episode of Brokeback Mountain, so I don't know if that's ever going to be in Repertoire. We had a good time, though. Yates has a beautiful place. I don't know what you pay him, Bill, but wow. It's a lot of jack. He's got this estate in Western Carolina. It's way at the top of this mountain. And I don't know if you could pay a Sherpa to get you to the top of this place. GPS hasn't even mapped it yet. And Yates says, no worries, just you get lost, call me. Okay, what's your phone number? Well, my phone number is 6. Yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere. His phone number is 6. Well, problem is there's no cell service up there. Poor Kay, his wife. I can't imagine having 12 juvenile delinquents up at your nice, beautiful home. I'm guessing there was a fumigation notice left behind. I know there were 15 air fresheners left on the counter when we got there. And I know there was a sign there that said, please, I beg of you, plug these things in immediately. We never plugged those things in, Kay. I'm sorry. We never plugged in. And I know you must be nervous as a box of frogs the next time you go up there and visit that place. I tell you right now, it doesn't smell real well. We had a good time, and you were a gracious host. Yates, you had the whole agenda planned out for the 2.5 days up there, and we were just busy nonstop up there. Had a great time. We didn't get to some of the things that you wanted to do, unfortunately. He had an Andy Griffith marathon lined up, 6-hour Andy Griffith marathon. The lost episode, 62 to 65. Oh, guys don't want to miss that. Okay, Yates. Hee-haw, Trivial Pursuit he wanted to play. Didn't get time to have for that. Of course, Dukes of Hazzard Monopoly. He's got Dukes of Hazzard Monopoly. I said, what in the world is that? He says, well, it's just like Monopoly. You get a token and you work around the board, and you, instead of trying to accumulate property, you're trying to accumulate junk. I said, junk? He goes, yeah, the winner is the guy who's got the most junk on the front porch of his trailer in his front yard. So I find out he's the winner of the big Monopoly game the week before. He's got a washer and dryer on the front porch of his trailer and an El Camino up on blocks in his front yard. Congratulations, yeah, Yates. We did have a good time, though. We went biking, hiking, eating, drinking, told some stories, and the Bailey twins made some chicken stew. And by the time we got back from hiking, it was about 11:45 at night, and we still hadn't eaten. The Baileys had to make this stew, and of course, we didn't have half the stuff. We had to stop at the Walmart. I don't know if you've ever been to Walmart at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Oh my God, house of horrors. In rural North Carolina, they were holding the annual North Carolina Incest Festival at this particular Walmart. Wow. So come to find out, Yates is all upset the next day because he gave his tickets away. So we're eating chicken stew and it's got all these dumplings in it. You know, you go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning after you're all boozed up, you eat chicken stew with dumplings, and God, I woke up in the middle of the night and had a frickin' nightmare. All I could see is this nightmare, and Yates, and he's a serial killer, and it's the Carolina Killer as I turn on TV and they're handcuffing him and taking him away, and God, woke up and, wake up in sweats. The next morning I get up and just want to have a cup of coffee, go downstairs and get myself a cup of coffee, look out the window, and there's Yates rolling a 50-gallon drum into a crawl space. It was just a dream. Yeah, it was just a dream. Yeah, Yates, you do a great job of putting everybody at ease. We had a great time. You're one of the guys in the industry that really gets it. You understand the relationship between the distributor and the manufacturer. And in today's society where pizza gets to your house before the police, you're one guy that you can always depend on. You always get back to people in a timely manner. Your office door, it's always open, and you're interested in what people have to say. You see the positive side of any situation, Yates. You're one of those guys that, the glass is always half full as opposed to half empty. And, bad situation, you can find a way to put lipstick on a pig or, frosting on a mud pie, if you will. It's always win-win with you, Yates, when you're negotiating with you. It's all about the industry. You care about the industry. And more importantly, you care about the people. Yates, you're an inspiration to all of us. And I think, because a lot of us in this room, we're much better people because of you. I think most of us in this room, Yates would carry a torch for you, much like the villagers hunting down Frankenstein. Only fitting, as Dick mentioned, that you received the Jana Quinn Inspirational Award in 2002 at the Chicago Conference. Yates, I hope you stick around our industry for many, many years to come. I know as you get older, you've had some problems sleeping and you've been irritable and somewhat constipated. And just a little advice on that. Never, under any circumstances, do you want to take a sleeping pill and a laxative on the same night. Right, John Moran? When Yates isn't in Daytona, he loves relaxing at his little retreat up in Little Switzerland, North Carolina with his wife, Kay. Kay, thanks for being here and the family. It's wonderful to see you guys here. I don't know how you convinced Kay to spend the rest of her life with you. It's as baffling as to why a kamikaze pilot would wear a helmet. I just don't get it. Rumor has it on their first date, Yates handed Kay a rag and said, "Does this smell like chloroform to you?" Now that's funny. The poor woman's been on a morphine drip ever since. God love you, Kay. To wrap things up, folks, it's an absolute pleasure, Yates, to have worked with you over the years. I can't thank you for all the support you've given myself, the Welsh Allen team. We've attended a number of dealer, manufacturer, industry, other meetings, functions over the years. We drank a few dozen beers and had a bunch of laughs. You've had an enormous positive impact on our industry, and I think professionally, we sure have learned a lot from you, Yates, and a lot of us are successful because of you. The reason that I'm still in this industry is because of guys like Yates Farris. I always look forward to seeing you and sharing ideas and having some fun. But to me personally, what I value more than anything is the friendship that we've built over the years. I don't take it for granted. I never want to lose it. And I hope that it becomes stronger and stronger in the years to come. Yates, thanks for all you do, all you've done, all the laughs and all the fun. Congratulations on your induction into this year's Hall of Fame. Thanks, Yates.